in Ciso. Oh, it's fabulous! A strike to get you up off your feet.
Hello and welcome to Seagulls Social. This is the Liverpool at-home match reaction, and I'm joined by Jack. He's back from Benidorm, and we are without Ben, of course. It's pretty much standard protocol nowadays. But Jack, how was Benidorm, mate?
Yeah. There are horrors which I saw there, which I cannot unsee. No,
So,
I had a good time.
then.
I had a good time in Benidorm. I just hope I never return. I hope I never go back there in my life.
I think that's a consensus with a lot of people that go to Benidorm. So you're not alone.
No, I enjoyed myself. I can see why people go there, because you can just I just went into a pub. They just had the Wolves Brighton game on one TV, Brentford game on the other, Fulham game on the other. And there was like 4 championship games, or like every game possible on all at the same time. And it's just like, you can see why people do it. And it's €2 for a Madrid, but yeah, it's a bit feral.
Can't go wrong.
On the other side,
feral is a good descriptive word, I think, of Benidorm. And also, just on that, watching the Wolves game, that was your first game missed in 2 years, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, 2 years. First game that I wasn't in attendance for, which was a bit weird. Like, I'm not used to doing that, but it was fine. Just watching it in the pub, celebrating. There's quite a lot of Wolves fans in Benidorm. Weirdly, like we're in a pub full of Wolves fans, which was a bit strange. So
that is weird.
Don't know why. Yeah.
But at least you got to see a win, so that's the main thing. And good to have you back, Jack, mate. And today we will be discussing, of course, a fantastic 3-2 win, one of the best games of the season. And now I know a lot of people are going to say Liverpool were on the beach. They quite literally were on the beach.
Yeah, of course they were.
About a couple of days before, they were obviously all
O Beach.
Yeah, O Beach.
They were on the O Beach. They were on
With
the O
Wayne.
Beach, weren't they?
Yeah.
Big Wayne.
Obviously it was a very different Liverpool side, but nonetheless, it was a must-win game for us. Obviously, we're still within a slither of hope of Europe. Now, before going into Sunday's games, I believe there was a 0.7% chance of us qualifying for Europe. But now, with a few of the games that have gone our way, especially the Brentford game, and of course now Forest needing to beat Forest needs to beat Chelsea, and Chelsea to win the Conference League. We are very much. I mean, it's gone up considerably from the 0.7%. I'm assuming now. But a long way to go, Jack. A long way to go.
Yeah, a long way to go. Let's not think it's going to happen, but it's not impossible, and things are going our way, aren't they? Not to be I've been watching Andor, and they keep on going about hope, like in Star Wars. So, I'm thinking about, that it's the hope that kills you, but the hope that keeps you going, isn't it? Mm. Because, and I do think there was, because I think it was after the Wolves game, and, our fans are a bit bipolar this season, me included as well. Half the time it's so over, it's so back, we've talked about it on every podcast. I just think what else are you going to do for the last few games other than hope and believe that we can still do it? So, look. If we don't do it, we don't do it, and that's that. And I think we're in a good place for next season. And I think it's let's go into it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's go into it with a bit of belief.
I agree with you. I'm now very happy no matter what happens. I think if we do get it, obviously brilliant. Away days in Kazakhstan, fantastic news. However, if we don't do it, I won't be upset. I won't be annoyed. Obviously, the whole Crystal Palace winning the cup, obviously that was heartbreaking and an awful day to be alive. But it is what it is. And if we don't get Europe, we don't get Europe. Like you said, I think we're in a really good position for next season. I think Herzler's the guy to take us there. I think we've got a fantastic young squad. If we can keep hold of most of those players, we are going to discuss a potential outgoings, because there was something in the matchday squad that potentially could be an indicator of someone leaving. Yeah, so let's talk about that quickly. Obviously, Joao Pedro wasn't in the matchday squad, Jack, and that was due to personal reasons. Now, I want to start off quickly by saying, of course, if it was personal reasons, obviously something's happened. We wish him all the best, and obviously we would never want to see anyone, be out the squad for, personal reasons. But being so late in the season, Jack, and being so close to the transfer window starting, you can't help but think that it might be because he is on his way out, Joao Pedro. What do you think about that? And how do you think that will impact the squad if he does leave?
Not that much. Okay, yeah, look, Pedro is a great player. Maybe I'm trying to be looking at it more positively. It's an interesting one in that, like, Pedro, I think he's a great player on his day. I think this is the whole reason we brought in players like Gruda, Jorginho. We had that depth in that sort of central attacking midfield, sort of the attacking midfielder, sort of, and maybe a little bit out front sort of position. So I don't think it's the end of the world looking at the squad depth, but yeah, it's always going to be a blow to lose a player of his quality. But it's one I think we can cope with. I think. And this isn't like, I think there has been an issue this season that he hasn't been available for all the games that he possibly could have, and that has impacted it. And I think that'll possibly put off potential suitors as well. Like, he's either been suspended or he's been injured. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one. I think the club will want to recoup the money they spent for him, so that's going to be interesting to see how we sort of go about that and sort of price range and where he goes, because I can't see a destination for him at the moment.
Yeah, I've seen a number banded about 50 million, which seems quite low to me personally. I don't know whether that's because I think we bought it for 30, right? Was it around 30 million?
Yeah, about 30 million. I think the thing is with transfers now is we had a crazy summer where we sold Caicedo for 115 million. Like, those sort of prices aren't going to come back round again, I don't think. I think we should lower our expectations on that. I think, you've only got to look at, Michael Elise. I mean, I know it was a release clause, but arguably, like, as much as we never quite saw him do it against Brighton, arguably one of the best players in the world right now. Yeah. And he only went for 56 million, so you can sort of look at that like a benchmark sort of area. So I don't think it's a crazy price. I'd like to see us get a little bit more, but we'll definitely want to get our money back. Yeah, it'll be interesting to sort of see how we sort of deal with this transfer, and if he is out because he's thrown a paddy about wanting to leave, or if he does genuinely have personal reasons. Yeah, I don't know. I struggle to see where he goes. I think that's the question. I don't think he's a top 6 player. Like, I don't think teams like Liverpool or Arsenal are going to be looking at him, but maybe someone like Newcastle or Villa. But then, I don't know. I think if I'm wanting to make that step up, I'm wanting to make it to like a Liverpool or an Arsenal sort of level, or City or something like that.
Yeah, obviously Champions League comes into it. Like you said, Newcastle and Villa looking very likely to get Champions League football. So yeah, that could be very much a destination for him. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, look, I agree with you. I think I don't think it'll be a monumental blow to us, but just because we've done well without him this season, to be honest. In games that he hasn't played, we haven't really seen him. Haven't seen a massive gap in where he's been. And like you said, with the squad depth now with Ritter and Gruda, especially how Gruda played yesterday, which we'll get onto, because I thought he was fantastic yesterday. And he's been really good in the past few games. So yeah, I don't think it'll be detrimental, but of course, I'd love him to stay. I think he had something different to our attack. But yeah, if he was to go, I wouldn't be massively upset. And I think if we get a good, decent fee for him, I think that's all good. So yeah, let's move on into the game. And of course, Jack, like you said, a very, very changed Liverpool side. And we went pretty much as we expected in terms of our lineup. Obviously, Adingra came in with Mitoma still on the bench and Gruda making a start as well instead of O'Reilly. So that was a couple of interesting changes. But Gruda, I just want to start off with Gruda because I thought yesterday he was fantastic. He could have got another assist. He obviously got one for Yari's goal, but one where he laid off to Welbeck and Welbeck missed. He just was fantastic yesterday, Jack. I think he showed everyone why he deserves a spot, fighting for a starting 11 spot, especially going into next season. And the past couple of games, I think he got what, 2 assists. He got an assist against Wolves, got 2 assists in the West Ham game, another yesterday. Got a goal, in one of those games, and got 2 assists, West Ham, and an assist yesterday. He's just been really, really, past 4 or 5 games, he's really come into his own. And I think he's trying to show everyone that he shouldn't be loaned out, and he should have a starting place. And how good do you think Gruda can be, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, he was fantastic yesterday, by far and away man of the match. I think he's fantastic. He really, I've been very heavily critical of Gruda. I've sort of, said, why have we still got him when we could have had Buonanotte and then Cisse this season? And it's taken him a long time to get going, and I think he knows that as well. And it showed how much it meant to him with the goal at Wolves. And I think yesterday he just looked up for it. The confidence boost that goal has given him, and the sort of, obviously all the fan support and everything to sort of say, look, I'm here. This is what I'm going to do. And he's got 1 goal. He's got like 3 assists already. And it's only up from there really. So yeah, really really pleased with that performance. I thought that first goal was that flick. Obviously
so
if
good.
Mitoma hadn't. If Mitoma hadn't scored like one of the best goals I've ever seen in my life, and Belieber hadn't screamed one in from a million miles out, I think that'd be looking at goal of the season, because it was just like the way it worked with the little flick from Welbeck into him, flick over the top, and a lovely finish from a Yari. A player
Fantastic goal.
who I think it's fair to say has missed some absolute sitters this season, just absolutely beautifully sort of guided that into the corner. So yeah, really, really impressive performance from Brian Gruda yesterday. And yeah, I think he shows why he maybe was worth 25, 30 million. And, with a good pre-season ahead of him, who knows how good he can be next season. Could be anything, really.
No, 100%. And let's just quickly talk about the first Liverpool goal before we get on to that equaliser. Because, yeah, like you said, it was a fantastic, fantastic team goal. Yeah, it was just all too easy for Bradley down that right-hand side. Got past Adingra way too easily. Got past Webster way too easily. And then, put it across. Good ball to him, because he could have played it early. He didn't. And then he just dragged it back for Harvey Elliott. And, yeah, just to summarise, Jack, it just seemed way too easy defensively, didn't it, for them?
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed. I think to take a little bit of the shine off the game, I thought some of our defending was appalling, especially in the first half yesterday. I do think we got a lot to work on defensively, but I think we'll be bringing in reinforcements and that. But if we're gonna play like that, and I think I sort of alluded to this, if we're gonna play like badly at the back, we need to go out and score goals, and that's what we've been doing for the last couple of games. We have been going out and scoring goals. So all credit to the players for sort of coming back from that quite early goal, which sort of set back and everybody sort of, slumped down a bit. And yeah, it was really good to sort of see us turn around. I think Adingra leaves Purvis so exposed, and Purvis had a bit of a mad one yesterday. I don't know. He seemed to be doing some crazy shit at times.
Yeah, his shot at like 90th minute was just mental.
Yeah.
Herzler went crazy on the sideline. He went absolutely mental.
And there was a couple of other bizarre moments. That one where he decided he was going to head it backwards into the middle of play, into Webster's head.
Yeah, that was mental.
I think I stood up and started banging my head like in the stand, and my mum said I looked insane. And then I think there was another moment. Oh yeah, when Bart made that amazing save, where Purvis just passed it back to him.
Yeah, that was mental.
And it was just like he can't pick this up. He can't pick this up. It was so Purvis definitely was on a bit of a mad one. But and I don't think it helped that Adingra was in front of him and wasn't quite providing the defensive cover that maybe Mitoma does a bit more. So yeah, that was a little bit frustrating, but still a decent enough performance. And yeah, it's a shame that we got done on that side twice, but we came back, like Peter Mandelson in the 80s, we came back.
Love that. Just quickly on Adingra, because I did want to chat about Adingra. Now, me and Ben discussed this in the last one, and we agreed, both of us, that we think his time is up, sadly, at Brighton, and we feel like he just hasn't done enough this season, especially with the options we've got, especially in the wide areas. There's players coming in. We've got the young South Korean guy. We've got Tommy Watson coming in the wide areas. We've got Osman out on loan. We've got Simmer still, who's part of the club. I know he's been touted for a few deals, but we've got so many options in those wide areas, Jack. And Adingra, for me personally, he doesn't do it defensively. He doesn't really do it going forwards. And for me, I just think, unfortunately for me, he's just not cut out for what we need in that area. But what do you think? What's your opinion on Adingra? Should
Simon Adingra stay go? I don't think he's quite up to it. With all respect to him, I think he's done well enough for us at times. But yeah, his defensive work isn't good enough, and I think there's better options out there amongst the squad.
Yeah, I think that's what me and Ben pretty much said when we spoke about it. I think it's just time, sadly. I think with the options available, the players coming back from loan, I just think we're going to be stacked in those wide areas. So yeah, for me, sadly, and I think he's been a great servant, and he has given us some great moments as a player. But yeah, sadly for me, I think it's time to go for Simon. But we'll never know. We'll see. Maybe Herzl likes him, and he might keep him. For example, he might want options. So you never know what the future may hold, Jack. But yeah, moving back into the game, we spoke about briefly about that Yari goal, but just quickly, what a great composure from Yari. Like you said, I think you mentioned it, saying that, you know, he has had his moments where, you know, in front of goal he has struggled, but that was like someone who'd been around for 20 years, like a Danny Welbeck, a seasoned vet who's just so comfortable in front of goal. Obviously a brilliant through ball to him from Gruda, as we discussed, but yeah, a great finish from Yari, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was really good. It was, he's calm, composed, everything that he hasn't been doing all season. So yeah, it was really good to see that from him, and hopefully he can add goals to his game, because I think, like, at the end of the day next season, we're going to have a lot of midfielders, so there's going to be a lot of competition for places. So it'll be interesting to see sort of like, I think one ultimately is going to have to go. Who that is, I don't know, but it'll be interesting to sort of see whether Yari will really cement down his place and carry on into the next season as well.
Yeah, because he's had his doubters, hasn't he? I was just saying to you off air that, I saw a tweet, someone saying that, is a Yari our worst ever Brighton player? And I think that's very harsh, considering he has had some really, really good games, and he's super young as well. And there's been a lot of bad players for Brighton Hove Albion in the past, so I don't think he's anywhere near that. And yeah, he's still got so much more development, so much more time to go. I think he's going to be a great player for us. So yeah, I think that's supremely harsh from whoever tweeted that. But I'm pretty sure it was rage bait anyway. That's usually what Twitter's like nowadays. But then, Jack, just before half time,
well,
go on.
I was just going to say, I've gone off Twitter for a week just after the cup final, and it's actually been so nice without it. So
I don't blame you. Yeah.
Good.
No, good. Keep it that way for at least a couple more days. Maybe it's a good omen, Jack. Maybe staying off Twitter, and then we might get Europe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'll come back on when we get Europe. Yeah.
Good. And then just before half time, Jack, it was it was a freak goal, really, wasn't it? I think his expression, Szoboszlai, showed that he did not mean it at all. It was a cross, and it just nestled in the top corner. I don't think really anyone could do anything about it. Maybe you could look at Verbruggen, but again, I think he was caught off guard, considering he thought it was going to be a cross, and then just nestled top corner. I mean, it was a good goal in the end, but there's no way he meant that, did he?
No, and I think we were a bit suspect for the defending. I don't know who was that just ran straight to him and just let him go through. I thought that was really poor defending. It's really frustrating just before half time, when you should be concentrating a bit and just kind of waiting to see the half out and then go in at 1-1, and that would have been a really good thing to build on. So I was very pissed off about that. As much as we are playing well, and I think I've alluded to it when we talked about the first goal, the defending is still at times appalling. So yeah, I think a little bit of a wake up call. I think that was a bit of an Adingra, Purvis, Minter triple combination fuck up, really. So yeah, a bit disappointing, that one. But yeah, going at half time, obviously worked in the team talk, so you can't complain too much.
No, exactly. And talking of the team talk, obviously, he must have said something at half time. And also the changes, really interestingly, Jack, I think for both teams I want to make a point of. So Nunes, Diaz and Jones came on for Szoboszlai, Gakpo and Chiesa, which, again, I thought that was very good for us, because I think Szoboszlai and Gakpo were actually playing quite well. Chiesa a bit muted.
Chiesa was complete was complete shit. Sorry, I'm just going to completely go, but I just thought he was absolutely the worst player on the pitch. I will give credit. I think his song is fantastic. That song's been in my head for a long time. The one about him, fuck off, Juve, I'm a copite now. But he is crap. However much they spent on him was too much. He was not good.
I think he was a free transfer, wasn't he? I think.
I felt like I didn't even have a touch. Did he even have a touch in the box? I don't know.
Yeah.
He was.
I was being kind, saying he had
rubbish.
a muted performance. I think obviously it was his first league start for Liverpool with a couple of games to go. But yeah, no, I agree. He wasn't great. But Darwin Núñez came on and didn't do anything either. So yeah, I think they need to look at their depth, especially if they want to go for the league next season. I think they need to look at that. But yeah, Núñez, Diaz and Jones came on, which I thought all three weren't that great. And then of course Mitoma came on just a couple of minutes after for Adingra, which was a key substitution. And you got to give credit to Hurzeler, because O'Reilly, Mitoma, Hinchwood and Howe all involved essentially in the winner, which we'll get onto. But yeah, big impact. And of course Mitoma scored the equaliser. Again, great technique from Mitoma, and he was just so good when he came on. I know we keep saying this every time he plays, but he's so integral to the way we play. It's so evident when he's not in the side, and when he does come off the bench, we just straight away the team's lifted, the performance is lifted, and he is just arguably the best left winger in the league. I don't know. There's many more options. Maybe in Buemo, if you want. Well, even though he plays on the right, you're looking at it's limited now. Like top quality left wingers. You are sort of struggling to look at them in the league. But I think he's right up there, isn't he? And it was just such a great goal, great technique from Mitoma. And I think if anyone was to go this summer, Jack, Mitoma's the one I do not want to go categorically. Pay him what he wants. Sign the contract, as Rio Ferdinand would say. But yeah, a fantastic equaliser, Jack.
Yeah, no, massively. Like, he's a player who's got to keep at all costs. I don't see a situation where like we have players who can do what he does. Obviously, Osman was sort of touted as maybe being as good, but he hasn't really pulled up many trees at Feyenoord, so a little bit disappointing in that sense. So yeah, it'd be absolutely awful if he went. I think he's obviously having to have his minutes managed, which is probably why he hasn't started games, and I think that's kind of obvious to see. That he's only getting a half hour or 25 minutes here and there just to sort of make sure he doesn't aggravate that injury. But we do need him for the last few games. And, 2 games now he's come on as a sub and 2 games he's scored. And, yeah, you can see that the change that he brings is huge. He works well with Purvis on that left wing, and yeah, he just lifted the whole team and carries them forward, and integral to the third goal as well, really, as well. But what a finish! Yeah. To bring your leg up that high and sort of kick it down was fantastic.
No, so good, and I think he is just the main difference for us going forward. I think he is Mr. Brighton at the moment for me in terms of how important he is to that team, how we go forward, how we play. And his first touch is just outrageous. The one he plucked out the air on the left-hand side was just outrageous. I think it was like an evidential gasp from the home crowd about how he pulled it out from the air. But yeah, he is sensational. What a player. Right, this has been a very frustrating podcast, but we're going to roll with the punches and just get on with it. On to the winner, Jack. It was a fantastic moment. Before we talk about that, Harry Howe and Hinshelwood coming on at the same time. Cousins, of course, and coming from a very prestigious family in the Hinchwood family. So yeah, very, very proud moment for Harry Howe. And he looked like a right player, didn't he, when he came on?
Yeah, no, he looked decent. I've watched a lot of him for the under-21s this season, and he's been fantastic. Great talent there. Great footballing background. From the most famous footballing family in Sussex, because his dad used to be the Bognor Regis Town manager, made over 500 appearances for Bognor Regis Town. So he's pretty well known in the local area and local football scene. So yeah, it's great to see him come on. Our youngest ever Premier League player as well. And he didn't really look out of place, to be honest. He looked like he settled in pretty well. So
yeah, no, he came on and I thought he'd done a really, really good cameo. And I know Jack praised him as well for his run for the third goal, obviously taking a defender away. And it was just a great, well-worked goal, wasn't it? It was a great ball from Mitoma to Riley, and then O'Reilly with a great pass across the face of goal. And Jack Hinshelwood, the man who came on with a fantastic finish. And to be fair, straight away I called it. It did look onside to me. I know there was big doubts from the players and the officials and stuff. But yeah, from what I saw, it was pretty much nailed on. And in the end, he was onside. But yeah, fantastic team goal, Jack. That one.
Yeah, I know. Even in the stadium, I thought it was onside. No one around me thought it was onside. I think I was pretty alone in that one. But great little finish. Always good when Jack scores. Don't know why. It always just feels a bit special when Hinshelwood scores a goal. I'm not 100% sure why particularly. But I just love it. Love it, really.
Yeah, no, it was a great, well-worked goal. And yeah, it just capped off a fantastic turnaround. Like you said, we were 2-1 down. And sometimes, we can really sort of either capitulate or just not come back and not show much fight. But I know it was a weakened Liverpool side, but again, to come back in that manner, another great win, keep us in the hunt for that 8th spot, European football, dream is still alive. So yeah, it all depends now, Jack, on, of course, the final weekend. We need Forest to beat Chelsea and we need Chelsea to win the Conference League. How confident are you on both of those things happening?
Yeah, we've got to rely on a lot of other stuff, but everything so far has gone as it should do. So, look, if that is the case, then just got to roll with the punches now, haven't we? And sort of see what happens. And yeah,
Like
if it
this
doesn't happen,
podcast.
it doesn't happen. Yeah, I know. I mean, this has been like after a weekend of watching a lot of bands at the Great Escape have to do really short sets. I feel like this sort of technical issue thing is like a theme of my life at the moment. Like, oh yeah, look, there's something technical issue. It's just Maz's internet, not like a malfunctioning synth or something. So, yeah, it's been a slightly chaotic podcast, but yeah, like hopefully, like you say, just like our season, it's going to be chaotic and ends in greatness.
There you go. It's like we're in sync. It's like this podcast and our season is very much in sync at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been chaotic, but just quickly actually, Jack, just quickly on that, we've got one more game to go. But how have you rated this season as a whole? I know we've got one more game to go, and it's still a long way to go. Obviously, it might be very different to when I speak to you next week. But how have you felt this season in a nutshell has gone?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll have a big end of season podcast after the season's ended. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's been an up and down. You know, we've had highs and lows. I think it's interesting. I think if the results were more consistent across the board, it would feel very different. But it does feel like we've gone through like really big highs to really big lows, sort of up and down, rather than sort of plateauing slowly upwards. We've sort of gone up, down, and as it stands, it will now definitely be the second best season in our history. So if we come out of that disappointed, then we certainly, I think that's good in a way. If we come out a bit disappointed, it shows that our expectations are rising, and we want to only get better. But of course, it's still a great season, I think, for the club. So I think we've done really well, and Europe may just be the cherry on top. But if not, if nothing falls into place, then so be it, and we can build and hopefully have an even better season next year.
No, well said. I think, yeah, I echo those thoughts. I think it's, what may be will be. I think that's how we've got to look at it. But we'll definitely do a recap at the end of the season as well.
Yeah, and I think if we win against Tottenham, we will have finished 1 point lower than we would have under De Zerbi when we got Europe. So I think that kind of shows that maybe the quality's a bit higher this year in the league. I don't know. It's quite a, we finished sixth with 62 points, and Nottingham Forest have already got 65s, and they're in sixth. So it has sort of fallen a bit differently to how it would that season. And I think the bottom three being so crap is a big part of that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to sort of see how it ends here, really.
Well, definitely.
Like
well, I mean, you mentioned that the quality. I mean, look, you just got to look at third down to seventh. It's a 1 point gap, all on 65 and 66. So I think it's super competitive up there. Maybe lower points tally than usual, but it's still very competitive about who will get those Champions League spots. And yeah, there's still 3 spots up for grabs with Arsenal, Liverpool, confirming their spots. But yeah, it's super competitive, and I think we've done well, all things considering, to finish 8th. Like you said, with a very sort of turbulent season, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. And I think, it's been a very transitionary season as well. So, yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how we get on going into next season. But, Jack, before we wrap up, we see some breaking news. You sent it to me earlier. Baskagli looks like he's confirmed to come. He's just recently literally won the Eredivisie on the weekend. PSV made a monumental comeback. Ajax bottled it, essentially. But, yeah, he's a Eredivisie winner now, coming to Brighton, and it looks like on a free transfer as well, I believe. So it would have been about, I think, an £8 million fee, but it's now a free transfer, which is fantastic news to get a centre back that we've been looking for a long time, and we've been looking at him for a long time as well.
Yeah, and I think I saw a rumour, I think I was posting a North Stand chat about it, and it was like, we were looking at a rumour of Harvey Elliott or something, and I was like, can we just buy a fucking centre back first?
Yeah.
And it looks like
it's outrageous.
And it looks like we were doing that deal really early, which is really good, because as much as we had a very good window last year, we did leave a lot of it late, and it did, I think it probably has paid its toll over the season, and a lot of the players haven't quite integrated even up to now. Some of the later rivals like Gruda, like Matt O'Reilly, like a couple of others. So yeah, I think that's is really good to see. And then a lot of players coming back from loan. You got Tismas, possibly some other players come back from loan. Bonanotte, I'm sure, will be given a chance in pre-season to sort of show what he's made of. And then hopefully we can build a great squad for next season to give it a really good go on lots of different fronts.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that squad depth's so key. I think having that depth, especially defensively. I agree with you, Jack. I've been so frustrated with our transfer policy recently, and that's another sort of talking point, I suppose, is that we are again just going for these, 18, 17. I think we just signed someone from Botafogo, the winger. I think Cabano, his name is. We're just about to sign him. I think Tommy Watson's coming in from Sunderland. And I'll be honest, I get it. I do get it, and I get we are a selling club essentially, but I just want us to sign some proven Premier League players, experienced, but not the ones over the hill, not the Lalanas, the Milners of this sort of talk. I'm talking like, even if they're like 30, 31, but they're proven players at this level. That's the kind of level I'm looking for. And Biscaglia's a good example, actually. He's 27, just won the Eredivisie. I think that's about right. Like, that's the kind of level I want us to go for more, rather than just signing 17, 18-year-olds that are for the future, which is great. Obviously, you want a what do you call it? A carousel, is it? Or like a wheel
Conveyor
where,
belt.
the conveyor belt. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, you want a conveyor belt of talent. Of course you do. But at the same time, you want to bring in some experienced, ready-made players, which I think we have not done in the past. So that's how I want us to approach it, especially defensively as well. And Lamptey as well, in his last year of his contract, looks like it's not going to re-sign Jack. What are your thoughts about Lamptey?
I actually think he's had his best season for us, funnily enough, this year. I think he's done really, really well at times, but ultimately we can't rely on him due to injuries anymore. I just think it's killed us at times where we've had no right back, and he was one of the options. It'll be some wages off the book. He signed a new deal, so it'll probably be a fair chunk. So he won't be on the small wages that when he first came in. So we will get him out. I think for his own career, I think he should go abroad just for the level of physicality is lower, and he might be able to make a sort of better career for himself. And I think that's my honest opinion. I think it'll be less intense for him, and he obviously won't aggravate the injuries. So yeah, it'll be good to see. It'll be good for his career, and I think we've just got to move on and accept it. And I think there's plenty out there who can do what he does. And we've got Kalioglu coming back as well. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see.
Agreed. I think, sadly for me, Lamptey's time is done. And here we go. Here's Beans. He's making
Beans
an
is back
appearance.
again. Yeah,
Beans is back. Maybe he can play right back, Jack.
Yeah, exactly. She
can play right
right.
back. But
misgendered my cat.
But Jack, just to summarise then, fantastic win, 3-2 victory under the lights at the Amex, always nice to see. And of course, Harry Howell making his appearance, that was a real highlight. Hinchwood getting his goal, like you said, Mitoma back off the bench. It all just looks now, slowly, things are looking good for us, and things are looking great going into next season. I think it's going to be really key how we keep players fit, what players we bring in. I think that's going to be really key. And what I want us to do, actually, we're going to go 2 episodes, Jack. We're going to do some special episodes. We're going to do end of season awards. We're going to do Seagulls Social end of season awards like we do every year. But we're also going to do a special episode where we're going to do keep, loan, sell with most of the first team squad.
I love that.
Yeah, we're going to get those episodes filmed for you guys after the Spurs game. And hopefully that keeps us going for a couple of weeks in the leading up to pre-season.
I go into before I go into hibernation mode and put myself on standby. No, I will not be putting myself on standby. As many of you know me well, I will be probably doing a stupid amount of stuff as well over the summer. So
sounds great, mate. Any other business, Jack, before we wrap up?
No, if you've managed to follow this podcast, you're doing better than us, because I don't think either of us two understand what the hell's been said or gone.
It's been a blur for the last hour,
I think I genuinely have not seen Maz this stressed in a long time since something accidentally.
Do you know what it is, Jack?
Got broadcast.
Oh yeah. That was mental. But no, do you know what it is, Jack? When things are out of my control, like for example, internet issues, that's when I get most frustrated.
Yeah.
If it was me messing up, I could handle it a little bit better. But the fact that the internet's just been a shambles. So apologies. It's been a bit of a mess of a podcast. But
it was like playing COD with my mates back in year 11 all over again. Like the internet failing and
Yeah.
ruining my game of COD. So yeah.
But hopefully we've covered most things. I think we've covered a majority of things. And yeah, guys, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we shall see you for the Spurs preview. Now, big one, Jack. Obviously, Spurs play tomorrow in the final, Europa League final. Any predictions for that quickly?
Do you know what? I'm going to go with the Spurs win. I think Spurs are going to win it. I think
the year of the Hoodoo's been broken.
Well, I think, he said, I always win a trophy in my second season, mate. So, I think he's going to win a fucking trophy in his fucking second season then, mate.
All right, love that.
Yeah. And also, I think we would rather have... I don't know, I think it's win-win for us because either they're going to lose the final and it's going to be really toxic.
That's what I said, yeah.
Or they're all going to be on the piss because they've won a trophy.
Exactly.
It's a little... Actually... I haven't got that much against Arsenal, but it's become a little... That game is going to be a hate watch in the sense that I want Tottenham to win to smite Arsenal. That sounded a bit bitter and twisted, didn't it? So, yeah.
But no, I said this exact same thing to Ben. I said, no matter what happens on Wednesday, it's good for us because, yeah, like you say, whether they win, they're on the piss. If they lose, they're going to be down and out. And hopefully we can go there and get a win. But, yeah, Jack... Thank you as always, and we shall see you for the Spurs preview, and we'll know whether they've won it or not. So, peace.
Yeah.